everyone. On behalf of Total EBIT Solution, I welcome you all to this webinar where we discuss on leveraging GenAI for transforming enterprise knowledge management. Your presence is greatly appreciated. Thank you for your support and joining us today. As we delve deep into this topic, we have a packed agenda for you for today. What we have lined up is a 10-minute introduction to talking about Gen AI use cases and introducing our own TEPS product, EKGAI, followed by a live demonstration where you will be watching a real-time demonstration of how EKGAI can streamline your knowledge discovery and content generation processes. That leads into our own panel discussion where Gen AI expert and our own TEPS solution expert would be discussing sharing more insights on Gen AI, followed by interactive Q&A session. Before we begin, a few housekeeping rules that I would like to share for the session: that all the participants will be muted throughout the webinar. We would encourage you to participate and submit your questions via the Q&A screen at any time, and we'll be taking these questions at the end of the session. This webinar will get recorded, and this recording link will be shared to you via an email post the session. Before we actually go into discussing EKGAI and Gen AI use cases, I would like to give us a walkthrough on TEPS and who we are. TEPS, as you can see on your screen, we are a digital transformation specialist. We bring on table 2 decades of industry experience with 6 global offices. We are headquartered in Singapore with offices in Australia, UAE, Indonesia, and India. We are fortunate to be working with diverse clientele across various industries like government, BFSI, logistic, education, manufacturing, to name a few. We have formidable alliances partners spanning from Microsoft, UiPath, Nintex, Druid, Friends, OutSystems, to name a few. Our comprehensive services, as you can see on screen, it ranges from application development modernization services to artificial intelligence, automation, cloud, security, data analytics, generative AI, conversational AI, to name a few. We are a very strong Microsoft partner in the Asian region since 2016, having achieved the ECIF partner status and managed partner statuses. We have over the years built competencies across business application, modern work, Azure, to name a few. Recently, in fact, we've been awarded 2 Singapore Partner of the Year award in the industry, nonprofit and government. We are very happy to be working alongside Microsoft, helping to develop impactful solution for our customers across the globe. And in fact, we are taking big strides in building AI capabilities along with Microsoft team to help our clients onboard on the AI journey. With this, I would like to welcome Arun, our Chief Technology Officer, who is basically responsible for building and executing the technology strategy at TEPS. Today, he'll be talking more about AI and Gen AI, and particularly introducing our own enterprise knowledge management solution known as EKGAI. So please join me in welcoming Arun, and over to you, Arun, to take this session further.
Thank you, Vinita. Good morning, everyone. My name is Arun, and thanks for the introduction, Vinita. Well, today for this session, we're going to talk about maximizing the bidding potential using generative AI, right? Particularly in the construction industry. Okay, the construction industry is one of the largest in the world. It employs a lot of people. If you look at, it's about 14.2% of the global GDP. And that means it's a really, very important industry that is there out there today. And when it comes to employee distribution, for example, 13.2% of the workforce in Singapore are employed by the construction industry. And the value of the business is 32 billion in Singapore. When it comes to China, 50 million people are employed by the construction industry. And in India, it's 70 million people, of which 81% are unskilled. In Southeast Asia, the construction market size is about greater than or bigger than 500 billion, and it is constantly growing. But the challenge here is construction industry has historically been a little slow in terms of adopting technology. Now, with GenAI, they can leap forward because the speed at which GenAI is being implemented in organizations, it can help transform the way the construction industry value stream is being managed today. The next 18 or 20 minutes, I'm going to cover some of the challenges in terms of uh, data and information related challenges that are there in the construction industry, including some of the bid management challenges, and how Ikigai as a product or a solution, which is built on generative AI, can help in addressing these challenges. And finally, why and why Ikigai, right? So, in the construction industry, the challenges that are related to information or data is most important one is the data overload, because there are so many different sources from which information and data is keeps on flowing in. One good example would be when a work gets done, people would take a photo and put it as a part of the report and submit it. And there can be a lot of sensors within a construction site or from the equipments that are there in a construction site. Now, all this information, all these sensors are going to generate a lot of data. Now, the challenge is getting insights from this data and making use of those insights for better, either for productivity improvement or for improvement in terms of the processes or the workflows that are there in the business flows that are there in the overall value chain. Construction industry is complex. For example, a company can have multiple projects running in a city. They may be running a business across multiple cities as well. That means there are so many there are so many pockets of information that are across locations and across departments, across various teams. Now, these knowledge silos is a challenge because there's repeated information and knowledge are not being shared. Even if there are common repositories where there's all these documents and data are being parked, the information retrieval from the traditional information retrieval mechanisms are not able to efficiently give us the information that we are looking for. And finally, the bid management complexity, because there can be construction projects which can have multiple contractors, subcontractors working in the project. There can be different, I would say, supply chain vendors working together. There can be warehouses that has to be dealt with. There can be complex costing requirements. So all this becomes a part of the bid management, because in a proposal for a particular project that can range from, say, a couple of millions to maybe a multi-million dollar project as well, or a $1 billion project, which can span across multiple years. Now, putting a proposal together with all these information catered is really tough, right? And you need a big team with access to a lot of information for them to come out with a good proposal. So jumping into a very high level bid management process that exists. I mean, there can be a lot of granularity into this, but I'm just looking at a very high level bid management process here. So there will be a pre-bid. So some people found a tender and they're going to respond to that tender, right? So now before that, you need to see, is this something that we're going to respond to? So there's some level of intelligence gathering that has to be done, understanding a whole suite of documents that got published. For example, it can be 20 or 30 different documents in which a whole lot of information is there. Then we do a qualification, then a go, no go decision happens. And then if it is a go decision, then there is a bid plan created. And from the bid plan, people jump into the preparation stage. So when it comes to preparation, so there's a whole lot of activities. So I just put a few, like for example, it could be cost estimation, quantity surveying, subcontracting. So basically, discussing with vendors, getting their scope, create a scope, finalized, getting their codes, then integrating all these different information that is coming in, scheduling and execution plan, creation of scheduling and execution plan. All this becomes a part of the bid document, that's a suite of bid document that gets submitted. So that is converted into a bid package, and before it is submitted, a whole lot of validation, checking, price reviews, a whole lot of activities, and finally the submission happens. After the submission, there is evaluation from the customer. So during the evaluation period, there could be clarifications coming in. So we need to respond to those clarifications. So you want to have information like, okay, in the previous bid, I responded to something similar, a question, something of a similar nature. So can I get that information? So these are things that could form a part of the mind, the thought process when you actually put in those clarifications. Participating in the evaluation process that can range from a couple of weeks to even a few months before the final bid is submitted, when the final bid is awarded, right? And that could be a presentation that has to be built as a part of the evaluation. And finally, before the award, there could be negotiations happening. Now, in this 5 step, where I try to put the whole bid management process into these 5 steps, we're going to talk about the pre-bid and the preparation phase. It doesn't mean that EKGAI is not useful only during this phase. It can be for all the other phases as well. But in our samples and in our use cases that we're going to showcase today, it will be focusing on pre-bid and the preparation phase for the bid management process. Now, when it comes to bid management, there are quite a bit of challenges. I'm just nailing it down or zooming into specific challenges in the bid management process, particularly related to information sourcing. First thing is information is spread across in various different systems, enterprise systems. It can be in emails. It can be with a particular, because when a bid team is formed, there is a whole lot of information that exists within this team. It can be in their computer, in their laptops, or it can be in some SharePoint, or it can be in some emails. It can be some discussions that happened in Teams. So the information is spread across multiple areas. That could be some specific technical write-ups or a design write-up that was created for that particular bid. So a whole lot of information there, right? Now, usually the timeline for putting a bid together is very short, and it can be unrealistic as well. So that means you need a tool that gets you that information. There can be restricted access to the teams, because this is a place where I would like to say something. When we put a bid together, we know that probably some team, during a coffee conversation, I met somebody who said that they have come out with a unique value proposition for a particular bid, or the project team says that they have done something very different and it is quite unique, or it can be a value prop for such projects. Right? Now that I know that person had done it, so that means I know, but I don't know where I can find that information. So what I do, I probably reach out to this person, and then he say, "Hey, I put it in the SharePoint folder." Now, is it the latest document? Oh, I don't know. There's someone else who was working. So this whole thing goes through a chain and can take 15, 20 minutes, or maybe 1 hour or 2 hours before you even hit on the source of the document. Right. So this is a very, very common challenge that people, because this is when it comes to information that I know exists, but there are information that I don't know that it exists within the organization. Now, so that is where the challenge is in terms of for the bid management team. And sometimes after the submission is done, there's someone who's came to know about it and they said, "Hey, we have done something similar. Why have you not used that information?" Right? Then information accuracy risks. Now, you know this information, you have that information, but you don't know whether it is accurate or not. So how do you ensure that it is accurate? Then how current is this information? Because there can be multiple versions of this document existing around. And have you gotten the latest version, or you have an older version of the document? Undefined common data environment. So this is critical. So this garbage in, garbage out, if you don't have the right source or a curated, or you can uh, s- call it as a single source of truth. If you don't have it, that's going to be a problem. Now, can you build it within the organization? Because not all organizations would always have a clearly defined common data environment for everyone to use, right? So this is something would be a constant challenge for the bidding team. When a new member joins a bidding team, there is a long onboarding time because getting this person to familiarize, because already the building team, bid team is usually very small. And for that new member to get familiarized with all the information or all the repositories and the whole process, it will take time. So these are the things, these are the challenges that Ikigai can address. So our solution, enterprise knowledge discovery using generative AI. So it has got two components. One is the knowledge discovery part, where using a natural language query, we can get to the information that we are looking for. Now, how does it work? Is basically it uses uh, our enterprise content or enterprise data, and you uses an LLM to interpret it better and also to summarize it, right? So LLM is already trained with a lot of information, so it can comprehend the information we are pushing, our enterprise information that we are giving it, and it will make sense of it and give us the answer. So that requires a kind of semantic relationship that has to be created between words and concepts to provide a very accurate and relevant information. So that in fact, we started off with for one of our project, one of the implementation for a construction industry. We started off with a benchmark of 70 to 75% accuracy, and we could hit up to 95% accuracy for certain prompts. So it is a combination, right? So because each prompt can have its own sources, and that source would define how accurate the information it is given. So we didn't expect to reach a 95%, but for certain prompts, we reached 95% as well. So another idea, another part of what we were looking at Ikigai is to provide a very seamless and simple interface. So we're looking at a simple chatbot kind of an interface where it integrates with 5 or 10 different systems in the background. But when it comes to the end user, he doesn't know where the information is coming from. He or she only knows that this information uh, he has getting the answer, that is when they know where the information is, or they can even go to that specific source document as well. The second part of the Ikigai is the content generation. So it can be like there is a set of tender documents, which has got about 20, 30 individual documents. And we need to, for taking a decision on whether to go or no go, we may need a summary of these information. And that summary can be based on a certain structure that we have defined for certain types of projects or certain type of industries, right? So we can have multiple templates, and for industry based or project design based or definition based. So you can have multiple templates. And from these source standard documents, it can summarize section by section that you have already defined in the template, right? So that helps in because if you're looking at 20 or 30 documents, of which the key document for a decision, for a go no go decision, maybe 5 or 6, which would take about 2 to 3 hours to skim through. Or if you want to go through individually, really in detail to take a decision, it might take even half a day to one day, which can be summarized within a few minutes by Ikigai. So that really saves time in terms of decision making, a quick decision making. Now, from the experience that we had with multiple implementations and also for construction industry, these are some of the key, I would say, outcomes that we noticed. 80 to 90% accuracy. I'm underselling it in terms of precise information retrieval. Now, the question is, how can you say that it is really precise? The key here is uh, the source was specific to this particular requirement. That means you're not giving, there is not too much of noise information in the source itself. So the source is important. So how the solution gets implemented is we identify for that particular business use case what would be the right source to target to, right? So that because there's less of noise, that itself increases the accuracy. So that is one. So this is inherently managing the source, and also segmenting the system in such a way that it goes to a specific source or based on your need. For example, I'm looking at project related information of, say, railway projects. Right? So because based on how we have categorized the information, it only looks at railway projects. But there will be situations where you a railway project and probably a dam project that you have created, there is some commonalities in the information. That also is possible, but it goes in stages. So basically, there are multiple strategies in which we have implemented. One is the way you prompt it, then the other way is how you categorize those documents. Based on these different strategies, it is able to give us the kind of accuracy that we are looking for. Then flexibility to improve. So though you have reached, because you're still, say, from 75%, or even maybe some of the accuracy can be as low as 60% for certain information that is not clearly specified, and to 95, 90, 95%, right? Now, this can be improved constantly. So this, the EKGAI has the capability of configuring, reconfiguring, recategorizing based on the feedback that is captured, right? So with these feedbacks from the users, uh, after they use it for a while, so we have a feedback loop set up. That way, we use those insights to help in improving the overall accuracy, and we can get another 10 to 20% accuracy improvement over a period of time. The next, the key benefit that we or key outcome that we saw was increasing the accuracy in terms of relevance based on personalization. So when each person in an organization will have different functions that they're going to perform. So based on their functions, we tag them to a certain set of repositories. So that helps in retrieving higher accuracy in information when they send out their prompts. It also helps in, so we also have the customization where they can personalize the interface, they can personalize the data source, they can personalize the retrieval mechanism, because some people might need in certain times, I would say, creative responses, and certain times the focus is on accuracy. Now, when they were looking for creative, that means the information is not fully available, but it can come out with ideas and suggestions, right? Now, but that is when it gets into the creative mode, and then you want accuracy, you do go for less of creativity and more of accurate information that is already existing. Right? So that is how you can personalize and use this tool to specific to their business functions, and also specific to their specific to their target that they're looking at that point in time. And finally, the integrations. So like I said earlier, you can integrate to a whole lot of systems, whole lot of enterprise systems. It can be as simple as your emails, Teams, SharePoint, any enterprise system, your project management system, any other repository, and we can even look at including your own personal I would say local folders for as a data source for looking for information. So let me jump into some of the key features and how the interface is. So later when we start the demo, it'll be a lot more easier for you to understand. So basically, this is how the interface looks like. This is how the interface looks like. So very simple. So there is a chat area where you actually put in your prompt, and you get the response below. And these are some uh, suggested prompts. These are prompts that are suggested based on our own past usage of the system, and also based on what other people are constantly searching, based on how you group it, right? So this is a capability that can be customized based on each business needs. And if you look at this is a prompt, and this is a response that we get, and the response can have some graphical elements also. and it can be bullet wise, it can be tabular form, so it can have some level of formatted output as well. Now, key to EKGAI as a solution is against if you see your ChatGPT, where you cannot put your company or enterprise information, but ChatGPT always does not give you the citation or what is the source of that information. So that is what Ikigai would be doing. It will give you the source where this information came from, right? So the citation would be, for example, if it is a large document, but the information that we were looking from was from a smaller piece of that large document. It only gives you what piece was used for generating that, right? And the citation can be multiple references within the same document, or it can be sections from multiple different documents as well. So and you can click on this particular link to go to the source document. So this is a tool that helps you in reaching information that you're looking for faster. But at the same time, you need to still validate the information that it is generating before you can use it, depending on what purpose you're using that information for. Right. So you can go to those sources, and it also gives you a confidence level based on which it ranks based on what confidence level in terms of the match to the prompt was it chosen. And the feedback mechanism. Now, this again is a very customizable one. So you have a set of predefined feedbacks. This is important because that's how we can improve the solution better and fine tune it based on your needs. So this is how the feedback is captured. Right. So in short, uh, where Ikigai comes in play is to help you retrieve the information that you know that exists in the organization, and also the information that you don't know exists in the organization. So that is very key when it comes to putting a bid proposal together. Right? Now, let me hand it over to Govind, who is the architect behind the Ikigai solution, and he will walk through a quick demo for you to have a better understanding of how it works in a construction industry scenario, where construction industry bid management scenario. Over to you, Govind.
Yeah, thank you, Arun, for the introduction and walking us through the solution, Ikigai. So, the solution Ikigai, the system is deployed in the Azure App Service, so which uses the our tenant Active Directory. So I will log into the system. It pop up with the credential to key in. The system is designed based on the access control. So system can connect it to different data sources as mentioned. So it can be connected with your email, with your SharePoint, and with your Teams also. So it uses the same authentication mechanism and authorization. Once user logged in, authenticated, they will get a landing page where user can see a simple UI UX and a seamless UI UX where user can navigate to different sections. And in the real estate of the landing page, you could find suggested prompts. So these suggested prompts are predefined within the system. As a first-time user, based on the different team members' previous experience, these prompts are defined by the bid management team, right? So this can also be fine-tuned and populated based on the user behavior. Let's say there are three people working on a bid management team. So one person could be developing a particular document. So based on the document, his question will be different, or his search will be different. So based on the search, the suggested prompt will be dynamically populated. So suggested prompt will help the user, the bid management team user, to start the conversation with very high level question, or it could be a particular question. based on the user behavior, right? So now we are starting with a very broader question, broader prompt. So this is a prompt which is given to our EKGAI solution, where this now the system is going into our data repository. So currently it is connected to our SharePoint. So from SharePoint, it's able to pick up the information and generates the specific details in a formatted way. So currently it is in a listed format along with the citations. So the first prompt what we have put it is explain what are all the defect liability period entails. Right? So these are some common questions which the bid management team will be asking or will be looking for the information from the document. Right? So user can verify the details, go through the details. So when the user go through the details, generated information, they might feel like, okay, some of the information, whether it is correct or not correct. So to find out the information is correct or the relevance, how much is the relevance of the information, right? So user can click on the citation link, so which will take the user to the source content section, where this gives the information using which the content is generated. Left hand side is more of content, generated content. The right hand side section is more of a source content. So using first document content, this much information, and it has a clickable link by which user can click to navigate to the document to verify these contents are actually coming from here or not. And few metadata information like last modified date, and in future if required we can bring in the last modified by. So when user is searching for the information, you can also fine tune the prompt to provide the search based on the user or based on the date it is modified. So these are the real-time scenario which the bid management team will be going through. So also it comes with a matching percentage, which gives the confidence rate or a confidence percentage in which the information is retrieved, and from those the content is generated. So for now we have made a setting, or you can call it as a configuration. So to access the configuration by clicking on this icon, so we have configured top 3 results. So we can also configure to top 10 or top multiple based on the preference. It can be 100 or it can be thousands also. We have few other sections or options using which you can generate the content. So I have selected few options. So let me ask the same question in a different, maybe ask a follow-up question. Since the UI or the user interface is more of a chart based, so you can start off with a broader question. So I have started with a broader question. Then based on the content which is generated, now the system is able to understand the conversation in a natural language. Then it can generate the information based on it. Like it can remember the context and the semantic relationship between your conversations. So now you could find the system is able to provide the information which I asked. So initially information is generated in a list format as is, which is in the document. Now I have specified to provide in a table format, and yes, thus now you could find like one more option, which is like a follow-up questions. As a bid management team, as I mentioned earlier, like started with a broader question. Now I wanted to nail down or drill down to the question specific information I need. So based on the content generated, GenAI is recommending a couple of follow-up questions to continue the conversation. So user can click on the button to continue the conversation. So all the conversations so far happened will be understood by the system, based on which it's rendering the responses, generating the responses. Right. So to go back to the configuration section, now there are few configurations I made changes, like number of search results, then query contextual summary, then follow-up questions. So let me start off with the follow-up questions. So this is after enabling this feature, we are seeing these options, the follow-up questions. Then either I can choose theming the chart completion, or it can be rendered in one chart, right? These two options, I hope you would have noted during the demo. Now, the next one is a query contextual summary, which I will navigate to my previous response. So now you could find like there are 10 maximum of 10 data sources picked up, maximum based on the relevance. So more than 50 percentage relevance to the document or the information which we are looking for. Now the system is picking the maximum of 10 documents from which the information is generated. And using query contextual summaries, now the system is picking only the relevant paragraph or maybe multiple line, few lines of information to generate the actual content. Whereas in my initial showcase, maybe I'll navigate to the initial question. Now you could find like it is more than 3 or 4 line of information using which the content is generated. So basically, using this function, we can better handle or better manage the token usage, right? So after the information is generated, if the user find the information is good, definitely user can send a feedback. So the feedback will be used. So the feedback information will be used to improve our uh, prompts, also the different parameter using which the accuracy can be fine-tuned. So it could be but like, or it can also be sometime a feedback with different, there could be an issue with the style, or it could be an issue with the factual data, or it can also be different things, right? When it is other feedback, user can write in a free flow text and provide the information if it is not good. So all the information is basically used to fine tune our accuracy and also to improve the usability of the system. So far what we covered is a first part, which is more of a discovery of your information. So in the discovery of information, it could also be complex. So far, what we have seen is like a more of a simple question with a response. Now, let's ask a different question. Provide content and documents and pages in a tabular format. So here in this, what happens is we have a SharePoint document list with multiple documents. Close to 27 documents are in the list. So from the list, the system is trying to bring in the required documents and information. Maybe I'll move on. Detailed summary of agreement on evaluation. So now here in this, it is more of a summary of information from a different data source and documents. Okay. I mean, so system is able to pick up from various documents. Now you could find there are so many documents compared to the previous one. So let me navigate to the file to showcase from which the information is retrieved. This is the document, PDF document from which the information is generated. The response is generated. If user want to navigate to the folder in which the document is residing, so just by clicking on the link, it will be navigated. The user will be navigated to the document. So currently we have close to 27 documents. So the system crawl through and look for the information from all these documents. So the first part, the first module of the showcase is on the content discovery or the information discovery. Now let me move on to the content generation. So take an example of a bid management team where they wanted to find out different documents, right? Generating different documents. Uh, to start with, in the bid management process, the initial process would be like a qualification process. For the qualification, the team would need a couple of questions or a couple of information, key information in a one simple document at very high level. So to come up with the qualification information, so first the user will have to pick up which tender or for the bid they wanted to get the summary or the qualification document. So for now, I'm choosing Ministry of Home Affairs. It is one of implementation tender construction facility home and home team tactical center. So once the source folder is selected, then we can move on to the second section whereby you can mention the information, how this need to be generated, give some preempt following instructions for the system to generate the content. Fully follow in like document template and the document and the precise information. So purposefully, I have made some spelling mistakes as LLM can handle a couple of spelling mistakes and it can also understand the different languages. So after providing the content generation prompts, so user will have to select a template using which they wanted to generate the document or the content. So for our showcase, I'm selecting qualification summary, but user can select a different other templates. It could be a commercial proposal content generation or the document generation, form of tender, or a price schedule the user wanted to generate, or a statement of compliances. For the showcase, I'm selecting a qualification summary and click on generate. Now the system is going through different documents, so close to 27 documents. So to go through 27 documents and prepare a summary information in a few pages, as a human, it might take close to 2 to 3 days. Now system is going to take like a couple of minutes to generate the information which is required. Also in a well documented format, which is in your document format. It could be your commercial document template, or it could be your qualification document template. In the same format and template, the document generation is going to happen. So to showcase the number of documents which we have configured for the showcase is 27, which has different sections, different documents, form of tender, evaluation criteria, and so many. Yeah, the content generation is ready for us to review as a bid management team. Now, first information what I need is to ask any clarification on the tender bid process for the key personality or key contact to which we need to send the clarification is. For clarification, these are the contact to whom or to which we need to contact. So information is available. So user can here again, like they can click on to the citation to navigate to the source content, navigate to the document, and navigate to the folder. So all the informations are specific to each of the section. The first section is clarification. For the clarification, which user will I have to contact. Second, schedule of rates. So the information is retrieved from the documents. So it has a citations. So user can give a different prompts also. Let's say this format is not good. If user wanted to change the format to be all in table format, yeah, definitely they can update the prompt here and regenerate the content. It's going to give it in the required format. So for each section, you can provide us specific prompts and the instructions. So going through scoring methods, these are some key information required to qualify the bid. The next one is like a checklist for submitting the tender documents or the submission of the proposal. These are the checklist which is retrieved from the different documents. It is summarized and presented in a well formatted way. And next one is a scope of work. And if I scroll down, then the evaluation criteria. So these are the key evaluation criteria retrieved from the different documents. It's not only a one particular document. From here, you could find it is instruction to tenderer. It is also evaluation criteria document and instruction to tenderer. Different pages and different documents. There are sections where the information is not available. It will give a response, no data is available, but the section will be empty. Then service level, SLA informations, all is retrieved. Key point to observe. So this is one of important area to cover, like what are all the key information required to submit or fine tune my proposal, or key information required to do the qualification. So the last part is like a key personal information which need to be submitted as part of the document. So once the information is generated, user can export the information in a different document format. So it can be in a document, Word document format. So this is our document template, which we use to create the document, the content. So these are the different sections in which the information is generated. The similar, same content, which is in a well formatted way in your document template. So same information in a section format and well presented way. So same information can be exported in a different document format, which is in your PDF. So with this, I pass on the floor to Vinita.
Thanks, Govind. Thanks, Arun, for taking us through the challenges that the industry faces, and also Govind taking the time to actually show us how these challenges are well tackled within EKGAI. We now move on to the next section, the panel discussion, and we are really happy to have with us today an AI specialist from Microsoft, Ms. Delin Cheong. Thank you for joining us today, Delin. Delin is the regional cloud specialist based in Kuala Lumpur, and she's been working very closely with Microsoft partners across ASEAN region, helping them integrate AI capabilities in the Azure platform. She's passionate about GenAI, and she's really spearheading that cause and helping customers and partners to basically embrace their AI journey. And today, related to the topic that we've seen so far, Delin, we would like to know from you as to how is Microsoft Azure and its AI capabilities being leveraged across various industries? And particularly, if you could highlight on certain benefits that are being used in the construction industry.
Thank you, Anita, for the kind introduction. So I'm happy to join you all today and share a bit about, the capabilities that I see with Microsoft Azure AI and how our partners around the world are actually leveraging this new technology. So across different industries, I'll touch on a few like probably like automotive, manufacturing, and also definitely construction. So to give a few examples, there's also a few customers like PwC and Fujitsu we have who has used Azure AI to do personalized service and also improve customer interaction. So I believe it's aligned with what EKGAI is trying to do, whereby it gives you like optimize and in terms of better ROI for customer interactions or customer service. For example, when you are looking for specific information, then that's something you can do to enhance customer experiences. Something else that I see in the market is, of course, operationalize the efficiency of all the processes that's available. For example, we have a few big players like Mercedes and Coca-Cola and BMW who have leveraged Azure AI to actually streamline operations and reduce costs. So, of course, the AI capability is not just restricted to a specific industry. There's definitely a lot of investments being done now in the construction industry. So, for example, across all industries, like globally, right, usually construction is the one that traditionally lags behind in terms of digital transformation. But we would like to see that change happen now with the adoption of this emerging technology in the AI. For example, a few of the customers like John Holland, which is a leader in Australia and New Zealand's construction industry, is using AI to actually improve the safety of their construction sites. So, for example, the capability of GenAI and also multimodal capability. So I'll explain briefly on multimodal, meaning that it is able of taking not just natural language in terms of text, but also images, speech to text directly. So it's capable of few different streams of inputs directly. So that's why it helps enhance the construction site images to identify like potential hazards and also enhance and embrace worker safety. It also helps to increase productivity. So like you can see just now, you'll be able to automate processes, help to boost the workforce productivity in terms like approval processes or probably like collaboration between teams by just leveraging the chatbots or probably just providing image feeds into the chat, and then it will be able to extract those information very quickly. So those are a few current usage of AI in terms of across all the industries. Yep.
Okay. Oh, good to know about those use cases. One question that comes to my mind is talking across scalability and customization. So, how does Microsoft actually ensure that Gen AI and all the other AI services on Azure are scalable and customizable? And how does it adapt to the specific needs of a certain industry? For example, construction.
Okay, great question, because it is something that partners are definitely looking at after they have done their POCs, experimenting like the capabilities they want with AI, and then they want to move to production. How do they actually do that to move to production? So there's been a lot of new releases recently and also across the past year with the emergence of like generative AI. And most recently, to ensure that the solutions are scalable because customers are starting to move into production, and they have users from all over the world trying to engage those services. So there's a need for load balancing and like scalability to address those issues. So a few releases that's been done is the availability of regions. So Microsoft has enhanced it to be across a more broader region of about 20 regions currently. And I think if you've seen like around ASEAN region, there's new data centers coming up. So definitely we're looking to see whether when they will come in to expand, and then do look out for the announcements for that when AI will be available. Something else that has been introduced is in terms of different deployment methods. So whereby you can see like not just Microsoft, there's a lot of different players in the Gen AI industry right now. And Microsoft is trying to tackle that by providing more points of connection across the world in terms of that OpenAI availability. So there's also a new deployment method called Global Standard. So to make it simplified, it's in terms of, let's say you have the 20 regions that I mentioned that AI is available in for our Azure cloud. Global Standard will actually dynamically connect to the one closest to the user and with the lowest latency to ensure that the performance is reliable and also to meet those new demands that we are seeing coming in very quickly across the market. If you're concerned about data residency, we also have like standard option to deploy. And also something new that's really a breakthrough in the industry right now is the small language models, whereby the models are small enough to be hosted on your own personal VMs, but the capability is on par to the ones that you see in the latest releases of GPT-4 and GPT-4 Turbo. So those are some methods you can use to actually handle the scalability. Or if you were looking for a more performance, let's say performance promise version, there's like provision throughput, whereby the performance is guaranteed in terms of how many units you purchase, and you just need to estimate like what's the expected traffic you have, and then the performance will be guaranteed from Microsoft ends at a reserve cost for your AI instances. So those can be a few methods you use to do scalability, and of course API managements in terms of having newly technology released like generative AI gateway that's currently leveraged to do caching, or like I mentioned previously, how to identify the lowest and healthiest OpenAI service deployments and so on.
Oh,
Yeah,
thank you so much, Darren. Yeah, that those information pretty useful for all the clients who have joined in today. Question to you, Arun. I know we are running short on time. That you spoke about at length on EKGAI, how it is able to tackle those bid management challenges and those processes. The question is about integration of EKGAI with the existing system that an organization will have. Will it bring some kind of a disruption, or it is able to seamlessly integrate with the existing systems?
Right. So thanks. That's a very key for when it comes to a solution like this, because the idea is from one interface, I should be able to get information from various enterprise sources so that it can correlate between those different sources of information and give me an output that makes sense for my business decision, right? So that integration is the core of this whole solution, where any system that can be integrated with is integratable to EKGAI. So that's the whole idea, right? So because it can be APIs, it can be file-based integration, or it can sit on top of a data platform, which, for example, a data warehouse or a data or a document management system. So it can integrate with any of the systems, and it has the capability of bringing in structured as well as unstructured information together, right? So that's the whole idea of coming out with a solution like this. But the key here would be security, right? So if I'm going to integrate with all the systems in the enterprise, can people who are not supposed to have access to a particular information, will they be able to access it? So what we do is we don't control the access within EKGAI. What we do is we inherit the access rights of the source system. That means if the source system does not have access to person A to a certain set of information, EKGAI will not reach that information. So because it is inheriting the sources systems to, so before that, what typically when an organization embarks on this journey of implementing, so we ensure that we do an assessment to check whether their security, for example, a data leak prevention solution is already in place. That means without or knowingly or unknowingly, data should not go out to the wrong unintended parties, right? So that is something that we take into consideration. So there's a whole journey that we go with organizations in terms of implementation. One is what is the business use case, which department is going to use it, and what are their data sources, and how are you going to integrate them? Then security, and then what are the, for example, PII information. So is the PII restricted? Are we tying back to what the regulatory body has asked us in case of PDPA or GDPR? Are we complying to all this? So all this is taken care. The good thing is we are working with Microsoft Azure's. We're not going to open LLMs because there is a certain set of guardrails that Microsoft has already put in, which already safeguards all these solutions, right? So because it's a combination of different APIs and services that we use, both from Microsoft space as well as internal systems. So it's a combination of all this.
Yeah. Thank you. I have a common question, one last one for both of you. Maybe Dylan, you could go first as to what are some of you talked about a lot of use cases and some successful implementation. What are some of the key challenges that you've seen organizations facing when they first embark on implementing any AI or Gen AI solution? And Arun, to you would be how to navigate these challenges for a successful deployment. Yeah, Dylan.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so I'll go first. So I believe what Arun touched about just now is very important too. Security. That's something that most organizations are fearful of when they first embark on this and they see it as a challenge. How do I pivot my current security landscape to, let's say, adapt to the new latest technology of generative AI and so on? So security will be one challenge. Change management will be the next, and data quality availability is something that is also a key thing that it factor in. And lastly, of course, the skilling gap and also our resource management. So I'll target the first one first. So in terms of security, like Arun mentioned, there's a lot of guardrails and also inbuilt capability provided by Microsoft Azure. The reason being because Microsoft serves enterprise customers. So one of the key questions you always get asked firstly during conversations with especially like government agencies, banks, or even like construction, where safety is very crucial, and also a key important thing is that security is a new feature that a lot of companies are looking to posture against right now. So there's a few like inbuilt capabilities that we have released recently, like content safety, whereby you can monitor for abuse, prompt shields. So as technology evolves, so does the threats and the ways that hackers use to try to engage and penetrate your systems evolve. So that's why we're evolving with it. And prompt shield is a way to like prevent attacks through prompts, whereby they try to hijack your systems by pretending to be a user, giving harmful prompts, and so on. So that's something that's available. And of course, touching on data quality and also the availability. So something to emphasize is AI is a technology that's not new in market, but generative AI is something that's new and enhances the capability of what we have developed previously in terms of turnaround time, whereby you need to use probably like a few months previously to adapt the same capability. But now with GenAI, you can actually release it in like a month using those language capabilities whereby it can understand all your data. But the key thing to note that is AI would not work without the existence of data. So a key thing to do to actually face this challenge is actually ensure that your data landscape is well governed and you have all the necessary data points that you need into your data warehousing or data lake solution so that the AI, generative AI solution can actually leverage on that data and you provide you the capabilities or the answers that you need to optimize your processes. And regarding the scaling and also like change management issues, so it's very important because there's concerns that teams are worried that if they adapt AI, what happens is jobs affected and so on. So the key thing is to pivot that. Resources will need to change with the pace of technology. So, for example, getting your team upskilled to use AI or know how to maintain the systems, or for example, like our customer service is changing, right? From manual processes, right now people are doing it through online, through digital services. So similarly, adapt your team, enhance your resource optimization so that they are ready for the new technology, and of course, a proper like change management system to ensure that everyone across organizations knows how to use and leverage the new tools, or even like be able to innovate themselves in terms of making the best use of this new technology. Yeah, I think that's from my side. Over to you, Arun.
Right. Okay, so just to add on, one key area that I mean, or one process that I would generally see how to address these challenges is if company is going to look for a big bang implementation, which takes a year or two to build the system and then implement, that's not going to work because the AI technologies that are coming in are constantly evolving, and the platform should be good enough so that you can integrate with any systems, right? And it can be fast and implementable, easily implementable, and easily rolled out. So the proof of value is what we generally ask the businesses to look for. That way, the change management is taken care because people already experience it in a small form and see the benefits, and then they can and then they can scale within the organization, right? So the lack of skills is something, again, like I said, it's a journey when it comes to AI implementation, and journey in terms of implementing within the whole organization across the departments, right? So it can start with some of the low hanging benefits. You target those, and from there the company can scale, and that is where vendors like us come in, where we curate some of these solutions for them to start playing with it, and then either you start off with an enterprise architecture or enterprise plan, or you start off with a small hanging benefits that you get, and from there you can scale up into an enterprise solution as well, right? So that's how you can address these challenges that Dylan had mentioned earlier.
Okay. Thank you, Dylan. Thank you, Arun, for that insightful discussion. And we do have quite a lot of questions. We are 10 minutes over the scheduled time, but I guess it's fine if everybody is staying back. Let's take these questions. So one question, Arun, this is for you, is that did you implement RAG in EKGAI?
Yes. Yeah. So that is fundamental. Why? Because when it comes, we are using Azure OpenAI. So that is a pre-trained model, and we are not retraining the model with the customer's information. So that's why RAG is one of the implementation, one of the strategy through which you can achieve this, where your data is used not to train the base model, but you use the base model to get the information that you're looking for. And it also works on top of generative AI, on top of cognitive search, which actually helps in getting getting to the information from the various sources using some vector-based concept where it has the correlation between the information. So all this, I mean, slightly going a bit too technical, so I don't want to go there. But yes, to keep it simple, we are using RAG.
Okay. One more is how EKGAI verifies the latest content if there are multiple versions. Also, how it verifies the information is correct and relevant.
Okay, so there are multiple strategies. It again depends on the particular use case. When it comes to which is the most latest, so depending on which system we are integrating with. For example, if it is SharePoint, it has got a version history, but you get to see the latest. But there can be multiple copies of the same document in different folders. So again, there is no one strategy that we can implement. So we'll have to discuss with the users on what is the best way in which we're going to handle this. For example, it can be the latest timestamp in a document. That is one way of looking at. We are looking at the latest information. The other could be you just designate a certain set of folders, which is the source that we have to use, because that will be the single source of truth. So where people put the finalized document, work in progress document don't go into that folder, right? So these are different strategies that we have to embark on. So it is more in process as well as technical solution that we have to implement.
And one last one is, what are some other areas in which this product EKGAI can be used to leverage knowledge management?
Okay, so in construction industry itself, like what Dylan had earlier mentioned, so one area would be using the vision capability of large language models for safety. Safety is a key concern in construction industries, and for example, when it comes to overtime period, like people are working late in the night, for example, for some reason, right? So there is a high chance of usually injuries happen during those odd periods. The reason being people are tired and people are not coherent enough in the kind of work they're doing. So there can be monitoring devices that can be set in the site to actually process this information and alert the people. So that's slightly sounds like a little bit of a sci-fi, but that is something that is available today for us to implement, right? Then in the whole bid management cycle that I mentioned, I was only touching the first two part. Now, for example, there is a clarification that happens in the fourth item, or when the review is happen, when the evaluation is being conducted by the customer, right? So those clarifications, like I said, we can link back to other areas where those clarifications have happened, and we can get that information. So that means in the bid management process, it can actually cover the whole cycle. And beyond that, when it comes to HR, so there is the same solution can be implemented from the HR context. It can be implemented from the finance context, or legal. For example, there are certain, I'm crafting a contract with a vendor. So there are certain legal clauses that I want to verify. Now, every time people, what they do is they write to the legal team, and the legal team, by the time they get respond back, it takes a long time. So now, if I create a solution, I mean, if I deploy EKGAI for legal specific requests, then the person can do a self-service, and he need not depend on a legal person to help him with that. All right. So these are so there is no limit to where EKGAI can be implemented. It is what data source and what is the unique requirement of that particular business functions. Sorry. So that is how you have to look at it. And to the extent there are different strategies in which this can be implemented, that use the end users always sees just one interface, whereas based on the prompt that he gives, the system EKGAI is able to understand where it has to fetch that information from. That means it won't go to a SOP related place to look for legal information. It goes to legal repository to fetch the information. Right, so that's a implementation strategy, or other areas that in which we can implement EKGAI.
Got it. Okay, thank you, Arun. So that brings us to the close of the session. Thank you, Dylan, once again. It was a pleasure to have you. And to the audience, we will be bringing you more such webinars, which is around AI and Gen AI areas. Thank you, Govind, for giving us that insightful demo. What you see on the screen are the contact coordinates for our various geolocations. Please scan the QR code if you are interested to get a free consultation and would like to speak to one of our product specialists to know more about EKGAI or any of the services that I spoke about in the beginning of the session. So we look forward to having you join for our future sessions. Till now, goodbye, everyone, and we appreciate your support for joining us today. Thank you.
Thank you, Anita.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks,
Bye bye.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.